Welcome to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We're going to get right to the phones. We got the Car Pro Jerry Reynolds, who's on every Saturday 11 to 1. And, Jerry, it's great to talk to you because you've got a car that it's piqued my interest, but, man, I think it's just not right.
Man, don't start on me about this name. Seriously.
Hey, Jerry?
Yes, sir.
I'm the same way as Matt. You're calling this thing a Mustang, and there's just something wrong. There's something so very wrong with this.
The first line when I was filming with this thing yesterday was, let's get this over with. Forget it's a Mustang. Just concentrate on the car, because it is pretty spectacular, I got to tell you. I have mixed emotions about the name. I think just calling it a Mach-E would have been sufficient. But I got to tell you, it does have some Mustang characteristics, especially the way it drives. And, boy, I tell you, it handles good. It's not like driving an SUV, or at least any SUV I've ever driven. It really is very car-like. And I got to tell you guys, the performance of this thing is just amazing. The one that I have does not have the extended range battery. So the range on it is 230 miles. But 0 to 60 in little over 5 seconds. Now, we've got a GT model coming out later this year that'll do 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. And that is lightning fast. But this thing is smooth. Obviously, it's quiet. It's got a 15.5-inch touchscreen inside that operates everything. And it's probably the simplest touchscreen system I've ever seen. Everything is laid out just perfectly. You can, hit certain switches. There's one if you want engine sound, for instance. It's called propulsion. So you can pipe in through the stereo some sounds if you're missing the sound of an engine. But the thing drives great. The one thing I would tell people that are interested in this is get the big charger. Ford offers a $799 quick charger where you could charge this thing overnight. The charger that comes with it, plugged into a 110 outlet, like on my front porch, man, I tell you, you're only picking up 3 miles of range per hour. So the battery on this one, after filming with it yesterday and driving it for 3 days, I'm down to about 50 miles of range. And with the charger that I've got, there's no way to get that back up. I'm going to end up parking this thing early. If you had the big charger, you could charge it overnight and get up to the full 230 miles of range. But spectacular vehicle. I think we all know electrics are coming. And if this is any indication, this is Ford's first try at it. They did a heck of a good job.
So what kind of range does their bigger battery have?
300 miles on the extended range battery.
Okay. And
I think this one will do the 230 miles this time of year. When you've got extreme cold and extreme hot, that's gonna get cut down some. That's just the nature of electric cars. This one's got a sticker price of $48,500, and by the way, there's no negotiating the price. In fact, the way they've got the system set up for this vehicle is you order it direct from Ford and then pick a dealer for delivery. So
it's essentially they're playing a Tesla model all the way around.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's a $7,500 federal tax credit, and in Texas we get a $2,500 tax credit. So the $48,500 becomes $38,500, and that puts this thing well in line with all the other SUVs out there, including Ford's own Ford Edge. By the time you get the tax credits, it's about the same price.
Hey, Jerry?
Yes, sir.
I'm guessing that electric car would be just super quiet on the highway. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. It is very quiet, and they go to great lengths to make sure that there's no wind resistance in these cars. It's got active shutters in the grille that open up when it needs air to get through there, and it's super quiet. I mean, it will. I would say that it would drive some people crazy how quiet it is. So you crank up the big stereo and you turn on the engine sounds, and you're feeling more like you're in a regular vehicle. Except, with this one, you're never going to go to a gas station again.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry, we have a texter this morning that has a question for you.
Sure.
A caller actually. He's got an '86 Portia Turbo. It's pristine and all original. Does Jerry recommend any modifications on it, or should he keep it in stock?
Did you say how many miles it's got on it?
No, he didn't.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I would keep it. I mean, if we're trying to make a classic out of it.
Yeah, it's a Porsche, by the way.
Yeah. Yes. I wouldn't do anything to it. I would try to keep it as original as possible. That's typically how you get the biggest value out of a car like that. Is keeping it strictly original, and of course doing your maintenance. That's the key to a car, especially a Porsche.
So, Jerry, is there any chance that you're going to get the Mach-E 1400 anytime soon?
Yeah, I think I will. I don't think it'll be anytime soon.
I mean, it's still considered a prototype right now, though, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is. And I've been trying my best to get a hold of the new Bronco. I've got to do the 2021 F-150. And by the way, the Mach-E and the F-150 both won the North American Car and Truck of the Year, which is the biggest deal of all the awards that are out there. This is the big one. And Ford swept 2 out of the 3. The other one is the Hyundai Elantra, which we're reviewing next week.
So I know this is something you probably won't be able to predict, but with these other companies, these bigger companies coming out with these electric cars and even getting up to, I mean, they're not quite up to what Tesla is claiming with their potential $500 battery, but they're getting up there. Do you think this is going to harm Tesla as we move forward?
I think it could.
Because Tesla's not making money off of any of their stuff right now.
Well, that's been the problem all along. They made money for the last 2 quarters, but that's the first time in 14 years. And frankly, it wasn't because of their cars. They were selling their credits that the government gives them. But that's another story. I think this could put a dent in Tesla. It's got a couple of cool features that Tesla doesn't offer. The Model Y is the one that this really competes against. And for instance, with this one, in front of the driver, there is a 10-inch screen that runs horizontal, and it gives you basic information, your speed, your range, what percent of the battery's depleted, what gear you're in. Tesla doesn't do that. You've got to look off to that screen right in the middle to get very basic information. And I think if people compare the two, that is a deal killer for a lot of them. I wouldn't want to take my eyes off the road every time I looked over to see how fast I was going.
Yeah.
So, I think it could put a dent in it, and we'll see. It's just such a great driving SUV, and it does have very car-like characteristics.
Yeah. So what do you have going on CarProUSA.com?
Well, we got the North American Car, Truck, and SUV of the Year. We've got the 25 best-selling cars across the board in America for last year. We've also got the best-selling trucks. That's a big deal. And an interesting story that Fiat Chrysler has partnered with GrubHub. You're going to be able to order food from your car. So what next,
Hey, you also have this story about muscle cars at Mecum. I'm sorry, I'm a muscle car fan, so I had to throw that in there.
Me too. That's
got
why I
some
put it in there.
Beautiful cars on that video you got going on.
Yeah, 200 cars. It's a private collection, and supposedly these are some of the most pristine GM muscle cars that's ever been sold. So that's coming up here within the next week, and we'll be watching that to see what prices are doing right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jerry, thanks for coming on. Always great to talk to you. We'll talk to you again in a week. You're on from 11 to 1 right here on News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM, KFYO on Saturdays. Also, just a reminder, your website's carprousa.com. You'll have everything up, or the Mach-E up on Monday.
That's correct, sir.
All right. Thanks,
You guys
Jerry.
take care.
You have a great day.
You.
We'll be right back.